Welcome, dear listener, to Whispers of the Night, to the bridge to unwritten tomorrows, in a quiet riverside town, where the rhythm of life feels paused and time moves like a soft sigh. A young woman tends to the old clocks left behind by her father. The townspeople drift through days like echoes of themselves, each routine familiar, each moment unchanging. But tonight, the fog carries a secret. A faint bell chimes from the river's direction. Though no bridge has stood there for years, curiosity stirs, gentle yet insistent. A shimmering path appears in the mist, a bridge half-formed, waiting for steps to give it shape. Each plank emerges as she moves forward, and at its center, a cloaked figure whispers words that linger in the heart. Every tomorrow begins when you dare to cross. This is a story of quiet courage, of choices yet made, and of the tender magic that exists between what is and what could be. Let us follow her across the mist, into the space between dreams, into the bridge that leads not just forward, but inward, toward the tomorrows we have yet to write. Breathe in the stillness, feel the fog around you, and step softly into a world where every moment is a possibility. In a quiet town by the river, where time feels still and the days move like whispered dreams, a young woman named Evelyn tends to the clocks of her late father's workshop. Each tick and tock carries memories, hopes, and the gentle rhythm of a life half remembered. The streets are silent, the windows dim, and the fog lingers, wrapping the town in mystery and wonder. Tonight, as the bell from nowhere rings across the water, Evelyn is drawn toward a shimmer in the mist, a bridge that has returned, though no one remembers it. Its light beckons, delicate and fleeting, inviting her to step forward into something unseen. Welcome to a story of quiet courage, unclaimed dreams, and the paths we carry within us. Welcome to the bridge to unwritten tomorrows, here on Whispers of the Night. The bridge to unwritten tomorrows, the town that forgot to dream. The town slept even when its eyes were open. Mornings arrived like faded memories, brushed in gray light, and the soft hum of old engines that never seemed to stop. The river that once shimmered beneath a proud wooden bridge now lingered under a hush of mist, moving lazily through the valley as though time itself had grown tired. In this town of stillness, where every clock ticked without purpose, Evelyn lived in the corner shop that smelled faintly of oil, brass, and a whisper of dust. Her father's sign still hung above the door. Hollis and daughter, watchmakers, since 1892, though the gold paint had nearly worn away. She never had the heart to change it. The bell above the door chimed rarely now, and when it did, it startled her, as if the sound had forgotten how to belong. Most days passed in silence, with only the soft ticking of clocks keeping her Campania quiet orchestra. Marking hours that no one seemed to notice passing, Evelyn would sit by the window, her tools laid neatly before her fingers delicate and precise as she adjusted the tiny gears inside the pocket watches that outlived their owners. She often wondered whose time she was repairing. When the second hand began to move again, it felt less like fixing and more like reviving, bringing a small heartbeat back into the world. Yet, outside her shop, nothing seemed alive enough to listen. The streets were always empty by evening, curtains drawn, lamps dimmed, the faint scent of rain clinging to cobblestones. The town had forgotten laughter, forgotten color. Even the bakery that once filled the square with the warmth of cinnamon and sugar now opened for only a few hours before the owner disappeared behind fogged glass. Evelyn sometimes paused at the door, watching the way people's footsteps never seemed to echo anymore. It was as if the air swallowed sound before it reached the walls. Her father used to say that the town had rhythm, once a pulse that matched the river's flow. Every place, he told her, has its own heartbeat. You just have to listen closely, she tried. Every morning, she opened the window to hear the river, but the sound had grown weak, as if it too were tired of moving forward. In her small apartment above the shop, Evelyn kept a shelf of notebooks. None were filled completely. She had started them at different times in her life: sketches of bridges, fragments of poems, bits of thoughts she never shared. She used to write about crossing the river, about leaving the town to find somewhere brighter. But every time she wrote the first few lines, something stopped her. The ink would dry, the page would yellow, and she'd move on to the next notebook, beginning the same thought again and again. On foggy evenings, she would sit by her window with a cup of tea and watch the lanterns flicker through the haze. The world felt like a dream she couldn't quite wake from, gentle, muted, and heavy with something unsaid. And though she could not name it, she felt it deep in her chest, a longing like the echo of a bell she could no longer hear. That night was colder than most. The fog came early, curling around the rooftops and slipping through the cracks in the shutters. Evelyn worked later than usual, her lamp glowing softly against the encroaching dark. She leaned over a watch that had stopped a century ago, its case engraved with initials worn smooth by time. Her fingers moved carefully, guided by habit more than thought. Each motion felt like a conversation with silence. The ticking of the other clocks surrounded her, some fast, some slow, none quite in sync. They reminded her of the town itself, each life running in its own loop, never aligning, never truly touching. She adjusted a tiny spring and listened as the watch came alive again with a faint, uncertain rhythm. For a moment, she smiled, but then it happened, something that made her lift her head. A sound, distant and unfamiliar, a bell dot. It wasn't the soft chime of her shop door, nor the sharp ring of a church tower. This one was deep, resonant, and impossibly far away, alike a call from another world. It came from the direction of the river. Evelyn froze, listening. It sounded again, gentle but sure, carried through the fog like a heartbeat made of light. Her breath caught. No bridge had stood over the river for nearly 2 decades. The old wooden one had collapsed in a storm when she was a child. Since then, only the river remained, its far bank lost behind the mist. Yet the bell sounded as if it were right there, Suspended above the water, she set down her tools and rose slowly, her eyes fixed on the window. The fog outside seemed thicker now, almost alive. The lamplight flickered across her face, catching the faint reflection of her own uncertain eyes in the glass. For a long time she hesitated, unsure whether to believe what she'd heard. But the bell rang once more, softer this time, almost pleading. Something in it stirred the part of her heart that had long been asleep. She reached for her coat and stepped outside. The night air clung to her skin, cool and damp. Every sound felt magnified: the creak of the sign above her door, the distant drip of water from eaves, her own breath mingling with fog. She followed the narrow lane that wound down toward the river, her footsteps muffled by the mist. As she walked, the town seemed even emptier than before. Windows glowed faintly, but no faces looked out. The street lamps swayed in the breeze, halos of light bending and trembling in the fog. The bell called again, closer now. Each note felt like a memory she couldn't quite reach, pulling her forward through the pale darkness. When she reached the riverbank, she stopped. The air shimmered faintly, as though the world were holding its breath. The fog drifted low over the water, and through it she thought she saw something: lines of light, faint and shifting, like threads weaving themselves across the current. She blinked, unsure if her eyes deceived her, but the shape grew clearer. A bridge, or the idea of one. It wasn't made of wood or stone. It glowed softly, silver and pale blue, like moonlight drawn into form. The planks shimmered and faded, appearing one by one, as if waiting to be walked upon. Evelyn felt her pulse quicken. The air around her carried the faint scent of rain and iron, the smell of something both new and ancient. She took a cautious step closer. The river's surface mirrored the bridge, reflecting it perfectly, though no ripple disturbed the water. For a moment, she thought she saw a figure standing at the far end, tall, still, almost part of the mist itself. But when she blinked again, the shape dissolved. Only the bridge remained, stretching into the fog, endless and impossible. Her breath trembled in the quiet. She wanted to call out, to ask if anyone else saw it, but she knew no one would answer. The town had forgotten wonder long ago. Perhaps she was the only one left who could still see such things. The bell rang once more, though now it sounded like it came from within the bridge itself, a deep tone that rippled through the air. The sound resonated through her chest, warm and strange, filling her with an ache she couldn't explain. She stepped closer to the water's edge, her boots sinking softly into the damp earth. The fog curled around her ankles, swirling like living silk. Something inside her whispered to turn back, to go home, to close the door, wind the clocks, and pretend she had never heard the sound. But another part, the quiet, forgotten part that used to fill notebooks with unfinished dreams, told her to stay. The world felt suspended, waiting. Even the river seemed to hush in anticipation. Evelyn took one step forward. A plank appeared beneath her foot, solid and glowing faintly beneath the mist. She gasped, pulling back instinctively, but the bridge held, unmoving. The surface was cool beneath her sole, smooth like glass, yet firm as stone. She lifted her gaze. More planks shimmered into existence, stretching farther ahead, each one waiting for her next step. She stood there, balanced between what was real and what could not be, between the world that slept behind her and the unknown that beckoned ahead. The fog thickened, swallowing the far bank, leaving only light and silence. The bell chimed one last time. Evelyn closed her eyes. For the first time in years, she didn't feel the weight of stillness pressing on her. Instead, she felt possibility, fragile, uncertain, but alive. She opened her eyes again to find the bridge pulsing faintly beneath her, breathing with the rhythm of her heart. She smiled without meaning to, a small, trembling smile that tasted of both fear and hope. Then the wind shifted. The mist rose higher, wrapping her in its cool arms. And for a moment, the town, the shop, the clocksoul of it felt like a distant dream she was slowly waking from. The bridge glowed brighter, calling her forward into the unknown. Evelyn took another step, and the world began to move again. The bridge appears in mist. The air tasted of rain and silver. Evelyn stood upon the first glowing plank, unsure if she was dreaming or awake. The mist curled like breath around her ankles, soft and weightless, whispering as though it carried the voices of forgotten rivers. Behind her, the sleeping town was already fading, swallowed by the fog's gentle hush. Only the faint outline of her shop's window remained, a square of golden memory trembling in the distance. Ahead stretched the bridge half-formed, half-imagined, its pale light flickering with each pulse of her heart. She hesitated. The plank beneath her feet shone faintly, waiting, patient as moonlight. The next step appeared only when she leaned forward, its glow rippling outward like a dropped stone on still water. She drew a breath that tasted of iron and dew, and her voice, small and uncertain, drifted into the fog. "Is anyone there?" Silence answered. Then came a low hum, almost like the purr of her father's workshop clock when it first woke from sleep. It wasn't sound exactly, more a vibration that seemed to live in the air, in her skin, in the faint rhythm of her pulse. The bridge shivered, as though breathing with her dot. Evelyn lifted her chin and took another step. The plank solidified beneath her, warm against the sole of her boot. She stared into the mist, watching how the light bent and swirled, making the world around her dissolve. There was no river now, no sky, only an endless veil of pale gray that swallowed horizon and reflection alike. Each footfall was a question, whispered to the unknown. The memory of her father's voice brushed the edge of her mind. Time doesn't wait, but it listens when you move. She had never understood what he meant till now. Every step she took seemed to awaken something. The air shifted, the bridge lengthened. The bell she had heard earlier resonated faintly in her chest. Then she saw it, a shadow ahead, darker than mist, motionless at the bridge's center. She froze. The form stood tall and still, wrapped in a cloak that seemed woven from the fog itself. It did not move, yet the air around it trembled softly, like water disturbed by a single drop. Evelyn's heart quickened. For a long moment, neither of them moved. She swallowed the lump in her throat and whispered, "Are you real?" No reply, only the echo of her words fading into the mist. She stepped forward again, slow and careful. The bridge formed beneath her feet, plank by plank, carrying her closer. The figure remained still, and she realized it wasn't blocking her path, it was waiting. When she was near enough to feel the faint shimmer of warmth that surrounded it, the figure lifted its head slightly. Beneath the hood, there was no visible face, only the suggestion of light shifting like liquid gold, as if 1,000 dawns had been folded inside the fabric. The voice that followed was soft, lower than wind, gentler than memory. Every tomorrow begins when you dare to cross. The words rippled through the air, slow and measured, and Evelyn felt them rather than heard them. They settled in her chest, heavy and luminous, stirring something long asleep. Her lips parted to speak, but no sound came. The world around her felt suspended fog, drifting in lazy spirals. The river below invisible, but somehow humming with the same pulse as the bridge. She thought of turning back, of retreating to her workshop, where time was simple and predictable. Yet she knew that if she left now, the bell would fall silent, and the bridge might vanish forever. Fear tugged at her sleeve like a child begging not to be left behind. Longing, bright and fragile, pulled the other way. "What lies across?" she finally asked, her voice trembling. The figure tilted its head, and though no features were visible, she felt the weight of its gaze, calm, patient, infinite. "What you choose to write." The mist swirled around them, carrying echoes that sounded almost like laughter, or perhaps waves breaking in slow motion. Evelyn took another step, but the plank beneath her dissolved for an instant, as if testing her resolve. She caught her breath and steadied herself. "I don't know if I can." The bridge brightened, answering with silence that was somehow kind. In that silence, she heard everything she had ever left unsaid. The goodbyes she never voiced, the letters she never sent, the dreams she tucked away for later. She thought of the notebooks on her shelf, the unfinished sketches of bridges that looked so much like this one. Perhaps she had been drawing this path all along, without realizing it. Her father's watch rested in her pocket, a habit she had never broken. She touched it now, fingers brushing the cool metal. It had stopped years ago, the hands frozen at the hour he had passed. She had tried to fix it countless times, but the gears refused to move. Tonight, as she stood there in the mist, she thought she felt it Sturgis faintly, a single click as if acknowledging her heartbeat. The figure raised an unseen hand. The air shimmered, and tiny motes of light rose from the planks like fireflies waking from a long sleep. They floated upward, swirling around Evelyn in gentle spirals. She reached out instinctively, and one of the lights landed on her palm. It pulsed once, twice, then melted into her skin, leaving behind a faint warmth. She gasped quietly. The bridge seemed to sigh, alive beneath her feet. She looked back. Behind her stretched nothing but mist, the town completely gone. A sudden ache bloomed in her chest, an ache for the familiar tick of clocks, the smell of oil and brass, the faint creak of wooden floors. She had not realized how much she loved those small sounds until faced with losing them. Yet, even as the ache grew, she knew that turning back would mean accepting the silence forever. Her eyes lifted toward the figure. "What happens if I cross?" The voice came again, soft and almost tender. "Then you will remember what time forgot." The words wrapped around her like a lullaby and a warning. She stepped closer until only a few planks separated them. The fog parted just enough for her to see the faint outline of the figure's hand extending toward her gesture, neither commanding nor pleading, simply waiting. Evelyn hesitated. The warmth on her palm spread slowly through her arm, a steady rhythm that matched the ticking of countless clocks in her memory. She thought of her father winding them, his hands patient and sure. "Every gear finds its reason," he used to say. Perhaps this was hers. She inhaled deeply, the scent of rain thick in the air. The mist tasted almost sweet now, filled with a strange familiarity. When she exhaled, her breath shimmered, joining the drifting lights. "I'm afraid," she whispered. The bridge pulsed beneath her feet, one gentle beat of reassurance. "I don't know what's waiting for me," she added. Another pulse. She closed her eyes and let the fog press softly against her skin. "But I think I need to know." Her foot lifted. The next plank appeared, brighter than the rest, waiting like an open page. She stepped onto it, and the glow surged outward, spreading across the bridge until the entire span blazed with quiet radiance. The figure lowered its hand. The lights rose higher, swirling above them like constellations caught in motion. For a moment, Evelyn felt weightless. The sound of the bell returned, distant but clear, resonating through her bones. It was not calling her now, it was answering her. She took another step, then another, each movement steady, deliberate. The bridge no longer flickered with uncertainty. It glowed with conviction, as if recognizing her decision. Halfway across, she paused. The mist ahead was thicker, but through it she sensed a faint glow that might have been land, or dawn, or simply imagination. She turned back one last time. There was nothing to Sinnotown, no shore, only fog dissolving into endless gray. Still, she whispered softly, "Thank you," unsure if the words were meant for the town, her father, or the life she was leaving behind. When she faced forward again, the cloaked figure was gone. In its place shimmered a faint silhouette of light, dissolving like morning frost. The bridge stretched before her, unbroken now, each plank solid and luminous. She continued walking. The hum of the bridge grew quieter, replaced by the rhythm of her own footsteps. The mist around her began to thin, revealing fragments of sky-soft silver streaks, like dawn struggling to remember how to rise. The river below emerged briefly, dark and calm, reflecting her small shape moving through light. She felt the faintest wind brush her cheek, cool and gentle, carrying with it a whisper she couldn't quite catch. When she reached what felt like the bridge's heart, she stopped. The air was still. The glow beneath her feet pulsed slowly, as if breathing. She could sense that the next step would carry her somewhere else, entirely beyond mist. Beyond memory, she looked down once more at her hand. The faint warmth from the firefly light still lingered there, a reminder that something unseen believed she could cross. Her father's words echoed again, softer this time, almost part of the wind. "Time doesn't keep us, we keep time." Evelyn smiled faintly. The fear hadn't vanished, but it no longer ruled her. The bridge, the mist, the hummel of it, felt like an invitation she had been waiting her whole life to accept. She lifted her foot, placed it forward, and stepped into the unknown. The bridge of light trembled once, like a sigh of relief. The mist ahead began to glow brighter, unfolding into a soft horizon of silver and gold. Behind her, the bell chimed one final time, deep and resonant, marking the moment the town that forgot to dream finally let one of its own awaken. Dead Evelyn did not look back. She walked on, steady and quiet, until the fog gathered her gently into its embrace, and the world around her filled with the sound of 1,000 ticking hearts learning to move again. The keeper of forgotten paths. The mist clung to Evelyn's skin like silk, damp and cold, yet oddly comforting. Each step across the luminous bridge carried a subtle hum, a vibration that seemed to echo from the depths of her own heartbeat. She had walked far, yet the bridge continued, planks appearing only as she placed her feet forward, unfolding beneath her like a dream she had always known but never dared to walk. The river below shimmered faintly through gaps in the fog, its surface still and endless, reflecting nothing but the pale glow of the bridge and the soft radiance of the stars hidden behind clouds. She paused at a widening stretch where the mist seemed to gather thicker, heavier. The light beneath her feet pulsed slowly, as if the bridge itself were breathing. The cloaked figure had disappeared ahead, leaving only a shimmer of movement in the fog. And Evelyn felt the emptiness of the path pressing against her from every direction. Her fingers traced the edge of the plank beside her, and the warmth from the firefly light she had carried from the previous night had faded to a faint memory. Memories of her father floated unbidden to the surface. She could see him in the workshop, bent over a broken pocket watch, hands steady and gentle. "Every gear finds its reason," he had whispered. And she had never understood the full weight of those words until she had stepped onto the bridge. Now she felt it deep in her chest. Every choice, every hesitation, every forgotten dream had its place, its reason, and her journey across the lighted path was only beginning to reveal them. The mist shifted, parting like a curtain to reveal an archway formed not of stone but of soft radiance. The cloaked figure appeared beneath it, again motionless, the faint ripple of their cloak catching what little light filtered through the fog. Evelyn's steps slowed, uncertainty pulling at her chest. The figure raised a hand slowly, and in that subtle movement, the air itself seemed to pulse. A voice followed, low and measured, like the echo of a bell submerged in water. Paths are kept not to guide, but to remember. What has been lost may still be found if you dare to see. Evelyn's breath caught. The words were neither question nor command, yet they carried a weight that seemed to press against the bridge itself. She looked down at the planks beneath her, glowing faintly in response to her hesitation. One trembled under her weight, and she drew a deep, steadying breath. The fog ahead swirled with a rhythm that reminded her of pages turning. In the drifting haze, shapes began to appear, faint and fleeting, shadows of what might have been, fragments of unspoken dreams. She blinked, and they shifted, dissolving into the mist almost as quickly as they appeared. It was impossible to grasp them fully, and yet she felt the pull of curiosity, the quiet ache of recognition. As if the bridge were revealing the lives she had brushed past without noticing. A gentle wind stirred the mist, curling around her legs and whispering faint echoes of laughter she had never known, tears she had never shed, and letters she had never written. The bridge responded to her movements, planks stretching longer, light intensifying under her steps. Each moment felt suspended between breath and heartbeat, the air alive with the promise of paths waiting to be remembered. The figure spoke again, voice soft as twilight. "Do you see them? The paths that were never taken." Evelyn swallowed, her voice barely a whisper. "I think so." "Then you must choose what to carry forward," the figure said, the words bending like smoke through the fog. "Every step shapes what will come, even if it is unseen." She thought of her father again, of the clocks, of the way he had wound the gears carefully, ensuring each one fit perfectly before moving the next. She felt the rhythm of those memories like a pulse under her ribs, steadying her. Every unfinished sketch she had left in her notebooks, every page she had abandoned, every hesitation she had allowed in her life, they were all part of this unseen design. The bridge pulsed beneath her feet, responding to her resolve. Each plank seemed brighter than the last, glowing with a light that felt alive. She realized she was moving not just through mist, but through possibility, through the space where the choices of her past and the promise of her future intertwined. The figure remained ahead, still and unreadable, yet Evelyn sensed that presence in every shimmer of the light, every ripple of the fog. It was not guiding in the conventional sense, it was offering reflection, a mirror to her own courage and doubt. She paused again, letting the silence wash over her, letting the weight of her own heartbeat fill the space. Images began to drift into view, faint and shimmering. A garden she had never tended, books she had never read, a street she had never walked down, all flickered in the mist like lanterns floating in slow motion. She reached out instinctively, though she could touch nothing. Still, the light tingled against her skin, as if acknowledging her attention. "Paths are remembered," the figure murmured, voice barely rising above the soft hum of the bridge. "Not all will be followed, not all will be chosen, but each must be seen." Evelyn's lips pressed together, holding back the swell of emotion rising in her chest. She had never considered how many pieces of herself she had left unclaimed, how many quiet desires had been set aside for fear or habit. Now, confronted with the shimmering possibilities, she felt the full weight of what it meant to remember. She took another step, and the plank beneath her solidified like warm glass, shining with a soft, steady glow. Another step, and the fog parted slightly, revealing a faint reflection of herself, walking, hesitant, hands reaching toward possibilities she had never dared touch. She recognized the reflection, not as someone else, but as her own life had been, and might yet be. The figure's voice came again, slower this time, almost a whisper carried through the mist. "To remember is not to live again, but to see clearly. What is unseen may yet guide you, if your heart remains open." Evelyn closed her eyes briefly, letting the words settle. Her father's watch pulsed faintly in her pocket, as though acknowledging the bridge's rhythm. She felt her chest rise and fall with the unsteady beat of courage and wonder. Each plank beneath her feet glowed brighter, as if responding to the determination she had not realized she carried. A sudden shift in the fog brought a faint scent of rain and earth, like the memory of a garden long forgotten. She inhaled, letting the fragrance mingle with the pulse of the bridge beneath her. For a moment, she could almost see the river itself, winding and silver, carrying reflections of every life she had glimpsed so far. The figure raised a hand once more. Evelyn watched, holding her breath. The air shimmered, and faint lights rose from the mist, floating and spinning like sparks caught in a slow, deliberate dance. One landed on her shoulder, another on her wrist, and she felt the warmth of them seep through her skin. The bridge thrummed with life, humming softly under her feet. Each plank, a note in an unseen symphony of memory and choice. "Do not fear what you have left behind," the figure said, the words gentle as feathers drifting through fog. "It is part of the path you walk, not the path you fear." Evelyn nodded, though no one could see her, though no one might ever know the small gesture of recognition. She let her steps carry her forward, each one deliberate, as if stepping into the very heartbeat of possibility. The mist curled around her, bending light and shadow, softening edges, until the bridge seemed like a dream woven from memory itself. The fog thickened slightly, and she realized the bridge continued far beyond sight. The figure's voice came one last time, low and serene, almost fading into the very fabric of the mist. "Every choice, every step, every remembered path, these are the lights that guide you. Trust them, and you may find what is yet unwritten." Evelyn's chest swelled with quiet understanding. The fear that had pulled at her when she first set foot on the bridge had not vanished entirely, but it had softened, replaced by a steady pulse of resolve. She thought of the countless notebooks she had abandoned, of sketches half finished, of dreams she had not dared to follow. She understood now that remembering them, even without acting upon all of them, was its own kind of courage. Step by step, the bridge stretched onward, responding to her will, glowing with a soft certainty. She felt herself moving not just across planks of light, but through moments suspended between what was and what could be. The mist wrapped around her like a cloak, soothing yet alive, carrying echoes of every choice unmade, every path forgotten. The cloaked figure remained a constant shimmer ahead, neither guiding nor blocking, simply present as a reminder that paths existed because they were seen, because they mattered, even if only in memory. Evelyn breathed deeply, the scent of rain and earth filling her lungs, and allowed herself to feel the quiet awe of being at the center of something vast and unseen. She took another step, and then another. The bridge pulsed beneath her feet like the heartbeat of the world itself. Somewhere far away, the faint toll of a bell echoed, as if acknowledging her passage, marking the moment she chose to walk forward rather than turn back. Evelyn did not rush. She let the fog cradle her, the lights rise and fall around her, and the bridge beneath her pulse with quiet reassurance. Every remembered path, every fleeting vision, every whisper of possibility accompanied her, wrapping her in a gentle, luminous cocoon. She understood at last. The bridge existed not to show her the future, but to reveal the value of each step she had taken, each moment she had remembered, each choice she had carried quietly in her heart. And in that understanding, she felt a weight lift, replaced by something lighter, almost fragile, but undeniably hers. Evelyn continued walking. The bridge of light stretched onward, endless and beautiful, carrying her through mist and memory, toward tomorrows she had yet to write, guided by the quiet wisdom of paths remembered and the soft, persistent glow of her own courage. the echoes of choices unmade. The bridge stretched farther than Evelyn had expected, its glowing planks winding into the mist like a ribbon of pale light unraveling into the unknown. Each step she took carried a quiet hum beneath her feet, the rhythm steady yet unpredictable, as if the bridge itself were alive, responsive to her heartbeat. The air around her was thick with fog, curling and drifting like smoke caught in a still room, soft and weightless, carrying the faint scent of rain and earth, mingled with something she could not name. It smelled like possibility, like memory folded gently into the present. She walked slowly, every motion deliberate, each footfall a question whispered to the unseen. Somewhere in the quiet, she thought she could hear the echo of the bell from the river, faint and distant, pulsing like a heartbeat she had once forgotten. Her father's words brushed her mind again. Every gear finds its reason. She understood now that every choice she had made or left unmade was part of a pattern, invisible yet precise. Like the movements of clocks she had repaired all her life, the first reflection appeared almost imperceptibly, a shimmer in the fog to her left. Evelyn blinked, unsure if her eyes deceived her. Slowly, a shape took form, herself, yet not herself, seated before a canvas, brush in hand. She wore a smock flecked with color, her hair tied back loosely, and the faint glow of a studio surrounded her. She watched as the painted world came alive beneath the brush, colors dancing and blending, shapes emerging from the mist of imagination. Evelyn recognized herself what she might have been had she pursued the dreams she had abandoned in youth. The reflection spoke, though no sound reached her ears. Words floated like motes of light, soft and deliberate. You could have chosen to create, to let your hands shape what your heart imagined. Yet you turned away, afraid to leave what you knew behind. Evelyn's chest tightened. She felt a pang of sorrow and longing, a recognition of paths she had never dared to take. Yet the figure offered no judgment, only presence, a quiet mirror of possibility. She walked on, the bridge pulsing beneath her feet as though responding to her understanding. Another shimmer emerged, this one taller, wandering along a sunlit road lined with trees whose leaves whispered secrets. The reflection carried a small bag and a walking stick, steps measured and purposeful. Evelyn saw herself as a traveler, someone who had left the town long ago, seeking horizons beyond the familiar streets. The figure moved through the mist with ease, embracing the unknown with courage Evelyn had never summoned. You could have wandered, discovered, the reflection whispered in luminous letters in the fog. You could have left everything behind, and the world would have welcomed your curiosity. Yet you stayed, tethered by comfort, by the rhythm of repetition. Evelyn's fingers curled at her sides. She felt both admiration and regret, a mingling of awe and grief that rose in waves, settling deep in her chest. A third shimmer appeared, softer and quieter, bathed in warm golden light. This reflection cradled a child in gentle arms, rocking slowly. Evelyn recognized the tenderness, the patience, the quiet courage of nurturing a life she had never chosen to live. She felt a lump in her throat, remembering the soft lullabies she had sung to herself as a child, imagining worlds that never came to be. The reflection did not speak, but Evelyn understood the message. The choices she denied herself were not wrong. they were possibilities, echoes of lives she could have touched, moments she could have embraced. The fog thickened, curling around her like slow-moving smoke. The lights beneath her feet flickered, testing her balance and her resolve. The bridge seemed to sigh beneath her weight, alive, aware of every hesitation, every question. She paused, letting the mist wash over her, letting the soft cold settle against her skin. She realized the bridge was not leading her forward in the world, but inward, toward herself, toward reconciliation with the lives she might have lived, the dreams she might have nurtured, the moments she had abandoned. A fourth reflection appeared, ethereal and elusive, seated beneath the shadow of a great tree, pen in hand, writing words that glimmered faintly in the fog. This version of herself was a poet, someone who had spoken what her heart felt in language, letting sorrow and joy and wonder flow freely onto the page. The words shimmered like tiny stars, tracing lines in the mist. Evelyn felt tears gather in her eyes, a recognition of the voice she had silenced, the self she had denied the courage to express. You carry them still, the figure seemed to say, though the words came unspoken. They live inside you, waiting to be remembered, waiting to be acknowledged. Not all paths are walked, yet each has shaped the heart that now moves forward. Evelyn swallowed, letting the echo of the reflections settle in her chest. She felt a warmth begin to grow there, faint at first, then steady, like a candle lighting a darkened room. She realized the bridge itself was a mirror of her own heart, each plank a memory, each glow a choice, remembered or forgotten. The fog seemed to pulse with understanding, curling around her like arms holding her steady, gentle, and unyielding. The reflections did not linger forever. One by one, they drifted back into the mist, leaving only the faint shimmer of light where they had been. Evelyn felt the ache of loss, but also a sense of peace. She understood now that the bridge did not demand she live those lives, only that she recognize them, honor them, and carry their lessons forward. Step by step, the bridge carried her deeper into the fog. She felt her heart pulse in rhythm with the lights beneath her feet. The wind shifted, carrying faint scents of rain, earth, and ink, the smells of paths she had never taken. She thought of her father, of the gentle guidance he had offered, of the ticking clocks and the steady hands that had held her world together. Even in his absence, she felt his presence here, in the rhythm of time and choice, in the quiet courage that guided each step she took. Another shimmer appeared briefly, a fleeting version of herself, dancing beneath a soft golden sun, laughing freely, her hair catching the light. Evelyn smiled faintly, recognizing the joy she had never allowed herself to claim. She wanted to reach out, to touch it, but the image dissolved before she could move closer, leaving only the warmth of memory lingering in her chest. The fog thickened again, curling around her legs, bending the light of the bridge into patterns that shifted and flowed. It tested her resolve, nudging her with cold fingers, asking silently if she would turn back, if she would retreat to the safety of repetition and stillness. Evelyn's chest tightened, but she continued, letting the fog wrap around her, letting each step be deliberate, steady, conscious. She understood now that fear was part of the journey, part of recognition, part of reconciliation. She paused midway, glancing down at the river far below. Though the water remained hidden beneath mist, she could sense its presence, slow and steady, carrying reflections of possibilities in its unseen depths. She felt herself trembling slightly, not with fear, but with awe. The bridge beneath her feet seemed to respond, glowing brighter, humming softly, alive with the rhythm of her courage, the reflections of herself, painter, traveler, mother, poet, dancer had shown her that the lives she might have lived were not failures, nor regrets, but echoes that shaped the heart she carried forward. Each had spoken in light and gesture, in subtle whispers that lingered like the scent of rain on earth, guiding her without commanding, revealing without judging. She stepped forward, and the mist parted slightly, revealing the faint glow of another archway ahead, wider and brighter than any she had passed. The bridge pulsed beneath her feet, steady and reassuring. She realized that the bridge did not end here, that its light and fog were endless, a continuum of memory, choice, and possibility. Yet she felt a sense of closure, a quiet understanding that she had begun to reconcile with herself, with the lives she had never claimed, and with the courage that now moved through her. The wind whispered faintly, carrying the soft echo of the bell from the river, distant but persistent. Evelyn closed her eyes for a moment, letting the fog and light and memory swirl around her. She felt her heart expand, carrying the weight of choices unmade, of paths never taken, of moments that had shaped her quietly, invisibly, all woven into the fabric of who she was. Step by step, she continued across the glowing bridge, each movement deliberate, each heartbeat a recognition of the journey she had undertaken. The fog wrapped around her like a cocoon, soft and protective, yet alive with whispers of possibility. She felt the pulse of the bridge beneath her, the rhythm of remembered lives and choices, and the quiet certainty that she was moving not toward an end, but into understanding. The reflections had disappeared, leaving only the faint shimmer of light in the fog. Yet their presence lingered in her chest, a warmth that anchored her, a reminder that she carried all of those lives within her, not as regrets, but as echoes shaping the path she now chose to walk. Evelyn's fingers brushed the edge of the plank beneath her feet. The light pulsed in response, steady, deliberate, alive. She realized she had begun to see clearly, to remember what she had once left behind, and to carry it forward with her. The bridge stretched endlessly before her, a river of glowing planks weaving through mist and memory, guiding her into tomorrows she had yet to write, yet already understood. And with each step, she felt the quiet, luminous heartbeat of her own courage, steady and unbroken, echoing across the fog and light, a reminder that the lives we might have lived are never truly lost. They live within us, shaping every choice, every step, every tomorrow yet to be written. The heart of the bridge. The bridge beneath Evelyn's feet pulsed gently, each plank glowing faintly with the rhythm of countless steps she had taken to reach this point. The mist hung thick around her, curling like fingers that both guided and restrained. Yet the path ahead felt different, now less uncertain, more deliberate, as though the bridge itself had sensed her courage and chosen to honor it. A soft, silver glow filtered through the haze, illuminating each plank with quiet insistence. With every step, her heart seemed to echo the light beneath her soles, a gentle resonance that reminded her she had walked farther than she had ever imagined possible. Ahead, the bridge widened into a vast expanse where the fog seemed to lift slightly, revealing a mirror of still water that stretched endlessly, calm and dark, reflecting not sky or cloud, but her own reflection multiplied 1,000-fold in the faint glimmers of light. It was as though she had stepped into a space between worlds, a threshold not just of movement but of choice, where past, present, and possibility converged in delicate equilibrium. The faint pulse of light beneath her feet quickened, as if the bridge were responding to the weight of her wonder and fear combined. The cloaked figure appeared again, not moving but somehow present, a ripple in the silver haze. Evelyn sensed its attention, quiet and unyielding, as though it had been waiting all along for this moment. The figure raised a hand slowly, a gesture neither commanding nor pleading, only existing like the arc of the moon across the mist. Evelyn felt the weight of its gaze, not heavy, but insistent, encouraging her to look, to consider, to choose. The mirror of water reflected thousands of tiny lights beneath its surface, faint and steady, as if a cosmos of unseen stars had been folded into the dark. They pulsed softly, each one distinct, yet part of the whole, carrying the sense of countless lives, countless unwritten tomorrows, each waiting for a choice to bring it into being. Evelyn bent closer, feeling the pull of something profound, something ancient, as if the bridge itself had been constructed to reveal the pulse of possibility that ran beneath all life. She could see her own reflection in the water, multiplied and fractured across the surface, each image a reminder of who she had been, who she might have been, and who she could yet become. A soft voice, deeper than the mist, seemed to rise from the water itself. Every tomorrow waits for its moment to be remembered. Evelyn felt it reverberate within her chest, mingling with the echo of her father's words. Time doesn't keep us, we keep time. She had not understood then, but now the meaning unfolded gently, like the petals of a flower in slow bloom. Every moment, every choice, every heartbeat carried the power to shape the future. The figure's presence seemed to lean toward her, subtle yet unmissable. Evelyn realized that it was offering her a choice, a gift folded in silence. She could return to the familiar world she had left behind, step back into her life unchanged, or she could allow herself to let the bridge and all its light vanish from memory, taking with it the courage and wonder she had found, and use it to write a new tomorrow, one that would exist solely in her heart. Unanchored by certainty, her chest tightened. The thought of leaving the bridge, of letting go of this luminous path, was frightening. Yet the pull of what she could create, what she could become, stirred within her, as gentle and insistent as the bridge's own glow. She felt the heartbeat of possibility in the water, faint and persistent, tugging her forward, asking her to trust herself. Evelyn stepped closer to the mirror. The surface shimmered, and she saw herself reflected not just as she was, but as she might be, a woman unbound by repetition, unafraid of the unknown, carrying all the courage she had discovered across the bridge into a life she would shape herself. Her reflection smiled, subtle and reassuring, a promise rather than a command. She felt tears prick at her eyes, tears of gratitude and longing, of farewell and beginning. The cloaked figure spoke, voice like the rustle of silk across still water. The choice is yours. To stay is to return unchanged. To leave is to create. But if you leave, the bridge will fade from memory, and its light will live only in your heart. Evelyn's gaze drifted to the faint lights beneath the water. Each pulsing point seemed to recognize her, acknowledging her journey, offering quiet encouragement. She thought of the reflections of herself she had encountered along the bridge, the painter, the traveler, the mother, the poet, the dancer, and how each had been a fragment of possibility, a whisper of what could have been. They were not lost, not failures, only echoes, shaping the courage that now moved through her chest like liquid fire. She felt the warmth of memory gather there, a gentle but firm presence, as though her father's watch, long still in her pocket, had begun ticking once more, echoing in silent cadence with her heartbeat. Every gear finds its reason, she remembered him saying, and now she understood the lesson in full. Every moment she had lived, every fear she had faced, every hesitation she had allowed to shape her path had all led her to this threshold, to this choice, to this heartbeat suspended between worlds. The mist stirred, lifting slightly to reveal the vast horizon beyond the mirror. It was impossible to tell where water ended and sky began, where reality concluded and possibility began. And yet, Evelyn felt certain, deep within her, that stepping forward would not be a loss, but a transformation, a continuation of everything she had learned, carried gently into a life of her own making. Her breath caught as she whispered, "And if I choose to go forward," the figure inclined its head ever so slightly. Light shimmered along the cloak's edges, as if acknowledging her resolve. "Then you will carry the bridge within you," the voice said, soft and resonant, "and no path will be beyond your reach, though its shape will exist only in memory." Evelyn's fingers brushed the surface of the water. The lights beneath pulsed in response, thousands of faint heartbeats echoing through her chest. The sensation was both overwhelming and tender. A reminder that the universe held countless possibilities, each waiting for a moment of courage to become real. She felt her own courage gather, not as a loud declaration, but as a quiet, steady force that filled every corner of her being. She looked once more at the mirror, at the reflection of herself as she had been, as she might have been, and as she could now choose to be. The choice trembled before her, fragile as mist, delicate as the glow of a single plank beneath her feet, yet undeniable in its importance. The bridge had not led her to the future, it had led her to herself, to a heart that understood the weight and wonder of possibility. Her father's voice echoed faintly in memory, carried on the wind of the mist. "Time doesn't keep us, we keep time." Evelyn let the words settle in her chest, anchoring her courage and guiding her hands. She understood now that the choice was hers alone, that every heartbeat, every whispered thought could write the tomorrows she desired. Tears slid down her cheeks, warm and unbidden, as she knelt briefly to touch the water. The lights beneath seemed to respond, flickering in acknowledgement, shimmering like tiny stars released from unseen constellations. Each pulse was a heartbeat of untold stories, unwritten dreams, moments of courage waiting to be lived. The bridge behind her glowed softly, fading at its distant edges The planks she had crossed now only a memory of light and mist. She felt a pang of longing, a bittersweet ache for the journey she would leave behind. Yet she also felt the thrill of creation, the luminous promise of a tomorrow she would craft entirely herself, untethered by the weight of expectation. Guided only by the quiet rhythm of her own heart, she rose, steady and deliberate, her hand lingering for a moment over the surface of the water. She took a deep breath, letting the mist curl around her like a cloak, letting the light of the mirror settle in her eyes, letting her heart open fully to the choice before her. She would leave the bridge behind, she realized, but its glow would remain, not in the world, but in her chest, a quiet luminescence that would guide every step she took. The cloaked figure remained, a shimmer of presence in the fog, and then, as if recognizing the decision made, it began to dissolve into the mist, leaving only the faintest trace of light in its wake. Evelyn felt the pulse of the bridge echo one final time beneath her feet, and then it was gone, leaving only the mirror of still water and the lights beneath, steady, infinite. Waiting, her fingers hovered above the surface once more, then withdrew. The water reflected her face, calm and resolute, luminous with the knowledge that the choice had been hers, and hers alone. She stepped away from the edge, feeling the pulse of countless possibilities thrumming quietly within her chest. Every unmade choice, every path she had glimpsed, every reflection of herself she had encountered along the bridge now lived inside her, forming a tapestry of courage and memory that would guide her forward. The mist wrapped her gently, soft and protective, as she took her first step beyond the bridge, carrying the light of the bridge within her, letting it settle into her heartbeat, her breath, her every thought. She felt the quiet thrill of creation in her chest, delicate and strong, fragile and unyielding. The lights beneath the water pulsed faintly, like distant stars, and Evelyn smiled, knowing that the bridge was no longer before her, yet it would remain forever in the rhythm of her heart, shaping the tomorrows she would write herself. And with that, she began to walk into the unwritten, each step deliberate, luminous, and entirely her own, carrying the bridge of light and memory inside her, a heartbeat of possibility she would never forget, a quiet courage that would illuminate every path she chose to follow. The morning that finally came. Dawn arrived quietly, spreading like melted gold across the rooftops and riverbanks of the town Evelyn had always known, yet never truly seen. The soft light brushed against the glass of her workshop, spilling over counters dusted with threads, gears, and the scattered remnants of clocks long silent. The air was crisp and still, carrying the faint scent of rain and earth, mingling with the warm, familiar aroma of polished wood and brass. Evelyn blinked slowly, her eyes adjusting to the gentle illumination, and for the first time in years, she felt the deep, unshakable rhythm of peace settle into her chest. She stirred beneath the linen blanket that smelled faintly of lavender and wax, the early light drawing delicate shadows across her face. The room was quiet, yet alive, as if it had been waiting all this time for her to awaken and notice its subtle pulse. On the workbench before her lay the scattered parts of a dozen old clocks, each one silent, still, yet poised on the edge of life. She reached out slowly, letting her fingers brush the polished brass of a small pocket watch, the one she had carried so often, the one that had held the heartbeat of memory and possibility all this time. The first tick came softly, like a whisper from the past, and then another and another, until the room seemed alive with the gentle, measured rhythm of time restored. Each clock chimed faintly, a chorus of delicate sounds echoing across the workshop, filling corners that had long been empty of motion. Evelyn closed her eyes, letting the sound wash over her, feeling it thread through her chest and spine, grounding her in a reality that felt both familiar and newly tender. She tried to recall the bridge, the luminous path that had carried her across mist and memory, the shimmering reflections of herself, the pulsing lights beneath the water, and the quiet figure who had offered guidance without words. Yet the images were elusive, slipping through her mind like morning fog under the first warmth of sun. She remembered the feeling, though, the heartbeat of possibility, the courage that had grown quietly in her chest, the sense that paths unmade were still alive within her, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be carried forward, rising slowly. She touched the wood of the workbench, her fingertips tracing the familiar grooves and ridges, feeling the pulse of creation in her own hands. For a moment, she paused, inhaling deeply, letting the gentle light spill across her shoulders, warming her like a soft promise. The memory of her father stirred within her, faint but clear, his hands steady, repairing a broken clock, a quiet smile as he whispered, "Time doesn't keep us, we keep time." She felt the full weight of his words, now their meaning blossoming in the quiet dawn. Every choice, every hesitation, every path she had left unexplored was part of the rhythm she now carried forward. Outside, the world had changed in subtle ways. The fog that had lingered for weeks, thick and insistent, had lifted entirely, leaving a town that seemed to breathe for the first time in years. She approached the window, hands pressed lightly to the cool glass, and let her eyes wander across. Streets familiar and strange, noting the glimmer of sunlight on cobblestones, the gentle sway of leaves in the morning breeze, the quiet sparkle of dew along the edges of wooden shutters. There was a stillness here, yes, but one that hummed with life, a delicate balance of what had been and what was becoming. Her gaze drifted farther, toward the river that had always seemed distant, mysterious, and separate from her world. And there, faint but undeniable, she saw it, the outline of a bridge, built not of glowing light, but of wood and stone, simple, enduring, tangible. It arched gracefully across the water, each plank and pillar etched with the care of hands that had chosen to create rather than simply dream. Evelyn's breath caught, and for a moment she thought the bridge was a vision, a fleeting echo of the mist and light she had known. But the bridge was real. She could see the texture of the wood, the gentle wear of stone beneath the handrails, the subtle imperfections that made it human, alive, built with care and intention. Her own hands had made it, she realized, though she did not remember the moments of creation, only the quiet satisfaction, the deep sense of fulfillment, the knowledge that she had translated possibility into reality. It was a bridge not merely across the river, but into tomorrow, a path she could walk with certainty, carrying within her the courage and wisdom of the journey she had undertaken. Evelyn lingered at the window, letting the sunlight warm her face, feeling the pulse of life beneath her feet and the quiet heartbeat of the world around her. She thought of the reflections she had encountered on the luminous bridge, the painter, the traveler, the mother, the poet, the dancer, and she understood now that they were not lost, not failures, not ghosts, but fragments of herself she had gathered and carried forward. They lived in the choices she made, the courage she nurtured, the hands she extended to create rather than simply dream. The workshop itself seemed to respond to her awakening, the clocks ticking in gentle synchrony, the dust motes catching the sunlight in delicate dances, the threads and tools on her counters arranged with subtle order, as if anticipating her presence. Evelyn moved among them slowly, deliberately, touching each object with recognition and gratitude, feeling the weight of time and effort suspended in these small, familiar things. Each tick of the clocks, each glint of sunlight, each faint scent of wood and oil was a reminder that she had returned not to what had been, but to what could now be shaped with her own hands. She walked to her workbench and picked up a single plank of wood, holding it in her hands, feeling the grain, the warmth, the potential. Her heart swelled with quiet understanding. The bridge outside, the tangible path across the river, was a reflection of the bridge within her, a conduit between memory and creation, between what was unclaimed and what could now be realized. Every choice, every reflection, every heartbeat of possibility she had carried across the luminous bridge had led to this moment, a quiet culmination of courage and insight. Evelyn knelt briefly, tracing the plank with her fingers, and allowed herself to smile. She did not need to recall every detail of the journey, every shimmer of light or whisper of mist. She carried it within her, in the rhythm of her heartbeat, in the steady pulse of her hands, in the warmth that spread through her chest. The bridge had done its work, and now the work of creation lay in her own hands, ready to unfold. She rose and moved toward the door, drawn by the sunlight spilling into the room, the soft murmur of life awakening outside. Each step felt deliberate, measured, infused with the quiet confidence that comes from walking a path fully understood, even when its details remain unseen. She opened the door and stepped into the morning, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin, the texture of the cobblestones beneath her feet, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the distant murmur of the river. The bridge outside gleamed in the early light, tangible, real, and built by her own hands. She could feel it beneath her fingers, see the alignment of every plank, the curve of every arch, the steady strength of stone supporting each span. It was a bridge that would endure, a bridge that would carry her and others across, a bridge that was born not of magic alone, but of courage, intention, and quiet, steady work. Evelyn approached it slowly, letting her fingers brush the rail, feeling the warmth of wood smoothed by labor and care. She imagined footsteps across its planks, the laughter of those who might walk its length, the quiet satisfaction of creating something lasting, something real. The bridge was no longer a dream of light and mist, no longer a passage through memory and reflection. It was now part of her world, a tangible manifestation of the courage and wisdom she had gathered on her journey. The river below flowed quietly, reflecting the early sun in ripples of silver and gold. Evelyn knelt briefly at the edge, touching the water, feeling the pulse of life beneath its surface, and letting the bridge, the town, and the possibilities stretch endlessly unfolded before her. The mist that had once shrouded the path had vanished, leaving clarity and light in its place, revealing a world that had always been waiting for her readiness to step forward. She stood and gazed at the horizon, the sunlight warming her face, the rhythm of her heartbeat steady and strong. The reflection of the bridge in the water shimmered, echoing the bridge she now knew was built not only with wood and stone, but with the courage, memory, and heart that had guided her steps across the luminous path. Evelyn smiled softly, a quiet, radiant acknowledgement of the journey she had completed, of the choices she had reconciled, and of the tomorrows she was now ready to write. Every tick of the clocks in her workshop resonated within her, each one a reminder that time was hers to shape, that the moments of possibility she had carried, the echoes of lives unclaimed, and the courage nurtured in the silence of the bridge were now hers to translate into reality. She felt the pulse of creation in her chest, delicate and strong, fragile and unyielding, a heartbeat that would guide her in every step forward. The bridge outside waited, steady and real, a path toward tomorrows she would write with intention and care. She took her first step onto its wooden planks, feeling the warmth, the strength, the possibility beneath her feet. Each movement carried the quiet triumph of a journey completed, a reconciliation with memory, and the promise of lives yet to be lived. The town around her seemed to exhale, the streets glimmering in the early light, the river sparkling like liquid hope, the air alive with the sense of beginnings born from courage. Evelyn paused midway along the bridge, gazing back toward her workshop, toward the streets she had always known, toward the horizon that stretched endlessly ahead. She felt the quiet presence of her father in memory, his steady hands, his gentle guidance, his words lingering in the rhythm of her heartbeat. Time doesn't keep us, we keep time. She understood now the full measure of that truth, and with it, she carried the quiet luminescence of the bridge within her, the heartbeat of possibility that would guide every step, every choice, every tomorrow she would embrace. With a deep, steady breath, Evelyn walked forward, the bridge beneath her feet steady, tangible, and alive. The morning light bathed her in warmth, the town shimmered with quiet awakening, and the river reflected the promise of what was yet to come. She was ready. The bridge had vanished from memory, yet it lived in her heart, a quiet pulse of courage, wisdom, and luminous possibility. And as Evelyn stepped toward the horizon, toward the tomorrows she would write herself, she felt the steady rhythm of her own heartbeat echoing across the river, through the town, and into the endless sky, a quiet affirmation that the journey had ended not with loss, but with the luminous, unshakable beginning of a life fully, beautifully lived. And now, as dawn spills its golden light through the window, she wakes in her workshop. The broken clocks tick once more, steady and true. The bridge, the mist, and the keeper fade into memory. Yet their lessons remain. The courage to move forward, the wisdom to embrace choice, and the quiet magic of a tomorrow waiting to be written. Outside, a new bridge shimmers faintly, built not of light, but of wood and stone, a path shaped by her own hands, and with it the promise of beginnings, of peace, and of a heart finally ready to step into the unwritten tomorrows that lie ahead.